In Ginza, Tokyo, a mysterious gate suddenly appears and mythological creatures led by men in Roman armor emerge and attack the people. Youji Itami, a JSDF reservist attending a nearby doujin convention, helps organize the police to evacuate civilians to the imperial palace before the JSDF arrives to stop the invaders. Itami's actions earn him a promotion to first lieutenant and national hero status. The Ginza incident prompts the prime minister to send a JSDF task force backed by the US to the world beyond the gate, known as the Special Region, not only to explore, but also to capture and demand reparations from those responsible for the attack. After 3 months of preparation, including Itami, the JSDF task force is sent off by the new prime minister to the Special Region where they encounter an army waiting for them and prepare for battle. At Ulnis Hill, where the gate is located, the army sent by the Empire to confront the Japanese forces is easily destroyed by the JSDF's advanced artillery. Emperor Molt then calls on the armies of the Empire's vassal states to attack, but they too are defeated with massive casualties, which the Emperor had planned to prevent the vassal states from exploiting the Empire's weakened military. Although the possibility of a JSDF attack is delayed by Emperor Molt, Itami is tasked with leading the newly formed 3rd Recon Unit, which is responsible for surveying nearby cities and points of interest. During their mission, the 3rd Unit passes by the village of Koda and witnesses a massive fire dragon burning and destroying a nearby settlement in the forest. While searching for survivors, Itami discovers an unconscious elf woman inside a well. The 3rd Unit takes the elf woman with them and returns to the village of Koda where they learn about the fire dragon. The villagers, assisted by Japanese soldiers, decide to evacuate and join the group. Later, 2 mages, Lelilalalina and her master Kato Teston, join them too. A group of bandits decide to attack the convoy, but they are killed by Rory Mercury, an apostle of the dark god Emroy. The group encounters Rory while escorting the refugees and she decides to accompany them as well. Unfortunately, the fire dragon appears and kills several villagers until the 3rd Unit manages to shoot off one of its front legs using an anti-tank rocket, causing it to retreat. After parting ways with the villagers, Itami decides to bring the remaining refugees, Rory, the elf woman, and Lely back to Ulnis Hill. 4. The 3rd Recon Unit comes back to Ulnis Hill, which has become an advanced JSDF base, and Itami gets permission to provide shelter to the refugees. Princess Pina Colada of the Empire investigates the JSDF's exploits in person after learning more about them. The refugees settle down with the Japanese soldiers, but Tukaluna Marsau, the elf girl, keeps requesting supplies not only for herself, but for an unknown male who is not listed among the guests. Lely suggests that they collect scales from the dragons killed by the JSDF, which can be sold for a good price in the local markets. Meanwhile, on the other side of the gate, the Japanese Diet summons Itami for an audience regarding the battle against the fire dragon. However, by the time the summons arrives, Itami has already left with Rory, Lely, Tuka, and the rest of the 3rd Unit to trade the collected dragon scales at the city of Italica. Pina and her knights also head to Italica in search of further information about the JSDF. Itami and his group reach Italica while the city is under attack by a bandit force consisting of army deserters. Princess Pina, who is leading the city's defense, realizes that her knights and the local militia are not strong enough to hold off the bandits until reinforcements arrive. In this critical situation, she meets the 3rd Recon Unit and seeks their assistance. Itami learns about the situation and agrees to help defend the city. He and his soldiers position themselves on the less guarded south gate to serve as a decoy, but the bandits see through the plan and launch an attack on the main force at the east gate instead. The enemy breaks through the city's defenses, and the princess becomes desperate. Rory, Akira Tomita and Shino Kurabayashi accompany Itami to Pina's location to help her men. At the same time, the JSDF dispatches a helicopter unit to aid the 3rd Recon Unit in defending Italica, which arrives just in time and easily annihilates the invaders with the help of Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries playing from loudspeakers. After Lely sells the dragon scales and Itami has negotiated with Pina and the Italicans for favorable compensation terms in exchange for retaining their sovereignty, the 3rd Recon Unit departs for Ulnis Hill, but encounter Pina's Order of the Rose Knights on the way. Unaware of the peace treaty Itami and Pina just established, the Knights take Itami captive. To prevent further conflict, Itami orders his unit to leave without him and surrender himself to the Knights. Pina scolds her knights, Boses and panache for capturing Itami in Italica, as she fears that it may give the JSDF a reason to retaliate against them for breaking the treaty. Itami is being treated by the formal family staff, while Rory, Lely, Tuka, and some members of the 3rd Unit sneak back to Italica to rescue him. However, they are welcomed by the formal maids and join Itami for a small socializing party. Pina orders Boses to sleep with Itami in the hope of earning his forgiveness, but Boses becomes angry and assaults him after seeing him having fun and ignoring her. Pina and Boses join the 3rd Recon Unit's trip to Illness Hill to apologize personally to Itami's superiors for Boses' actions. Meanwhile, Itami invites Tuka to accompany him to Japan to represent the special region in front of the Japanese Diet. The next day Itami, Shino, and Akira accompany Rory, Lely, Tuka, Pina, and Boses through the gate to Japan. Itami and his group reach Tokyo, where Pina and the other girls are amazed by the city and its people. They meet a public security agent named Komekato, after which Itami, Rory, Lely, and Tuka head to the Japanese Diet, while Pina and Boses discuss the details for the peace talks with members of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. At the Japanese Diet, the chairwoman of the Investigation Committee on the Fire Dragon attack questions Itami, Rory, Lely, and Tuka about the JSDF's failure to protect the refugees killed by the Fire Dragon. The 3 girls defend the JSDF, recounting how the soldiers saved many lives from the monster. Later, Itami's and Pina's groups reunite in the subway to escape from the press and a mysterious group targeting the Special Region girls. Due to a leak of their itinerary, Itami changes plans and takes the group to stay with his ex-wife. Itami briefs his ex-wife Risa, who agrees to assist him by taking Rory, Lely, and Tuka on a shopping trip the next day, while Akira accompanies Pina and Boses to the library after both of them show an interest in Boys Love manga from Risa. Meanwhile, Itami meets with Defense Minister Kanutaru, who instructs him to bring the Special Region guests to a hot spring guarded by the Japanese SFG for some relaxation. However, 3 different Black Ops teams enter the area and engage in a battle with the SFG. The SFG identifies 2 of the operatives as Americans, while the Japanese Prime Minister is coerced by the US President to stop the SFG from attacking his Black Ops team so they can take the Special Region guests with them. The Prime Minister orders Teru to tell his men to stand down, but not before revealing that he will be resigning to nullify the President's leverage. As the 3 ops teams head to the inn, Itami comes across a drunk and aroused Rory. Rory's attempt to seduce Itami is disrupted when he receives a phone call from Teru. The US Black Ops team arrives at the inn and is confronted by the Russian and Chinese teams, leading to a 3-way battle that ends with Rory as the sole survivor. The group takes a van from the Russians and returns to Ginza, where Risa posts a message on the internet that the Special Region girls will be visiting the Ginza memorial to thwart any future kidnapping attempts. A large crowd gathers at the memorial, making it difficult for the foreign agents to carry out their plans. All foreign agents are discreetly arrested by public security, and after Shino broadcasts the kidnapping attempts on live TV, the US, Chinese, and Russian leaders cancel their operations. The Special Region girls bid farewell to Risa and pay their respects at the memorial before returning to the gate. Pina realizes that the war with Japan will lead to the Empire's destruction, and decides to head back to the capital to arrange peace talks between the 2 sides. The Illness refugee camp has transformed into a town and trade center for earth goods in the 5 months since the gate's opening. In the imperial capital, Pina introduces Kouji Sugawara, the new ambassador to the Empire, to Lord Cicero, a key noble in the pro-war faction. Cicero agrees to cooperate with the peace talks if his nephew, currently a POW in Japan's custody, is released. Meanwhile, Tuka is still searching for her father and refusing to accept that he is dead. Itami and his companions express concern for Tuka in a tavern, but Kurikawa believes they must make her face reality. Itami disagrees, knowing they can't be responsible for Tuka forever. While drinking with Rory, Itami is interrupted by a dark elf named Yahadushi, who mistakes Rory for a child and scolds Itami for giving her alcohol. Rory, annoyed by the interruption, plays along with the misunderstanding, causing Itami to leave. Yao is unaware that Itami is one of the men in green she needs to seek help from for her people, who are under attack from the Fire Dragon. The next day, Itami heads to the imperial capital as Yao plans to visit the JSDF base at Illness. Yao initially fails to ask the JSDF for help due to the language barrier and is arrested by the military police after attacking some thugs who mistake her for a prostitute. Lely, who has improved her magic thanks to Earth's scientific knowledge, is summoned by the JSDF to serve as Ya's interpreter. After learning Ya's story, General Hazama informs her that he cannot help her because her home, Schwartz Forest, is located outside the Empire's borders in the Elbe Kingdom, and sending troops there would mean a declaration of war. Sympathetic soldiers suggest Yao ask Itami for help. Itami and his team deliver goods from Earth to Pina and Hamilton to win over more nobles to seek peace with Japan. Unbeknownst to Itami, he gives Pina a yaoi doujin that contains newspaper clippings of his previous heroic actions. As Itami heads back to base hoping to achieve peace, Lely narrates that the war is not yet over.